slice. Now it's time for the main course. Yes, we're back again.
Still not on you now.
Our panelists have shed their skin and emerged from the chrysalis to take the boxing world by storm once more. Join us in the neutral corner every week for a mouth-watering portion of opinion and debate, blending the oracular and iconoclastic for your audio-visual delight.
Okay, welcome everyone, and welcome to the new year and the first ever edition of a neutral corner, aka Next Big Pod XP.
That intro is fucking tragic, by the way.
The voice rudely interrupting me as we unveil this new podcast is Alex Morris, formerly of Boxing Asylum. We've also joined by Sam Carpenter, stalwart of the Next Big Pod. Right, Sam?
Yeah.
Cheers, mate. We've also got Andy. Andy Roy, you there?
Yes, I would have to be here, Shep. After all, I'm for what the people tune in for, the voice of Next Big Pod.
That is objectively true, according to poll results, so no one can argue. And we've also got Paul Ainsworth as well. I think he's muted. He's unmuted himself. He's watching a famous loss from the career of Ahmed Khan. Any fun, mate?
Twitter.
Right. So as you probably guessed from our bickering in the last 10 days or so, we've kind of had a reboot of the show. I'll call it a reboot. Reboots are all the rage at the moment. Star Wars, Star Trek, all of that sort of thing. So we'll say it's a reboot. We are going to see how it goes, but aiming to do more sort of debate-orientated show, more discussions. So we welcome your questions at all times, and less of a kind of breaking news pod because there's a hell of a lot of them, and they're all better organised than us, and can actually get shows out when the news is still relevant. So we're going to play to our strengths and go for a bit of arguing instead. Is that right, lads?
We're good at arguing. I've displayed for the WhatsApp chat.
Supposed to disagree with me.
Right.
It's a good start so far, lads. Well done.
What happened there?
Like I said, good start. Crack on.
Alex, you've got quite a lot of quite mouthy for a guy who failed to log on to his own show on Sunday night.
I was ill, mate. I've been to it. I've got a sick note for that and everything, so you can go ask my doctor about it.
Your private GP, eh?
That's the one. Doctor and thief.
That's Alex's nickname if he's going to be a boxer. Fucking Alex Sick Note Morris.
It'd be something ambiguous like sick bay, so he could send his opponents there, or he could be there himself. Either way, someone is going to the hospital.
Just like Tommy Morrison, just full of AIDS.
Yeah. Can't see anything wrong with saying that.
It's true.
Yep.
Well, it
There's
was
worms at the moment, mate, but you know.
Right. So tonight we thought, as you may have noticed if you'd seen the feed, we would discuss the coming year, but not in quite the same terms that other shows have been doing. I was fortunate enough to go on Boxing Asylum on Sunday, and they were doing sort of year-end awards and rounding off 2015. But we were thinking that 2015 was so shite that we would just skip straight ahead to the year to come. And rather than approach it from an outsider's perspective, as we usually do, in terms of getting angry about why decisions have been made behind closed doors, not really understanding why things aren't happening, getting angry at what is happening, as boxing fans, tend to do the world over, we thought we'd flip it on its head and be matchmakers for a short time. Everyone on the panel, or all of you, should have picked a prospect or a contender, sort of fringe contender level, in world boxing who is potentially set for a very interesting 2016 and could make some waves in the sport. So we've avoided, people like Pacquiao or people like Golovkin who are already sort of established stars. We've gone for some up-and-comers, and each guy is going to play matchmaker, pitch 3 potential opponents for the coming year, and the rest of us will play, let's say, network executives, where we're going to scrutinise, criticise, reject, or accept whatever you come up with. So have we got any volunteers for going first?
I'll go first if you want.
Actually, the one thing I didn't want.
Okay, I won't go first.
Andy.
Yes. I'll go first then. My prospect is interesting because he had a bit of a setback in his last fight there and was touted as
good.
Well, he's still kind of young enough and he's still good enough, I think. Hopefully, anyway, because I'm a fan and I do like him, to come back and improve. I think maybe his last fight, it showed that maybe he'd been a wee bit overestimated, maybe. But he's maybe been not matched tough enough as well. So my prospect is Luke Campbell. And so we're going for 3 fights, innit?
We're going for 3 fights. They can be at any time, but we need to plan this properly. So I would say, before you begin, one of the potential problems with Campbell last year was that the fights came together at the last minute, and there was never, apart from the Coyle fight, it was a case of like he was playing TBAs until the last minute. So maybe try and avoid that. And
he had quite a lot of interrupted training stuff as well, obviously, with the stuff from his father. So he didn't seem to have really. Hopefully next year and the year after, he gets settled right down and gets a good run of victories and gets to work on his craft, and hopefully he gets to the level where I believe, and plenty of other people as well believe that he can get to. So we'll go for March time then. Is that about right? Go for March. I would have him face Scott Cardle for a British lightweight title.
Right. First problem. Hasn't Cardle got a rematch with Sean Dodd in like February or something?
Oh, right, okay. Well, I'll use another one then. I would have him fight Stephen Ormond in March.
Oh, I don't mind that. Who's Ormond with promotionally?
Well,
anyone know?
I don't know. I don't think this has been confirmed, but I seen there was a rumour floating about a while ago that him and Spike were kind of working with a promoter that was affiliated with Heyman. Now, I don't think they're actually signed per se with Heyman, but I think
he fought in America, didn't he?
Yeah,
he fought in America like last
Massachusetts
year,
or something like that. So I would go for Stephen Ormond then in March time.
Yeah, because I don't think he's with Warren, isn't he? I know he's been on Box Nation, but
he's with Heyman. I'm sure he is.
He's with Heyman.
I'm sure he is.
Well, he's boxing on that MGM Dublin show, I'm sure. I think he's just been announced for that. Maybe the day.
I think what Ormond was with Heyman?
I think so.
See, there was rumours going about with him and Spike, but they weren't actually signed with him. It was some sort of promoter for Boston area.
Ken Murphy.
They were going to be on like PBC cards. I think they've been on 1 or 2. That's correct.
Ken Murphy.
Definitely fought in America a couple of times. Definitely.
Yeah, I swear to God he's with. I'm fucking sure he's with Heyman.
Right.
Heyman.
But I think the Heyman thing.
Ainsley, have a little look into that. Andy, my question as the boss of Sky TV is:
Are Eddie Hearn, as he's otherwise known?
No, isn't Ormond quite a tough comeback fight for a guy who's just coming off his first loss?
Just a comment. Heyman has signed Ormond. He signed him in October.
Okay, so then it's makeable in theory.
Yeah, but I think the Heyman thing with the fighters based in Europe only counts for the fights in America, because Hook, Frampton, for 2, when they've fought or had fights arranged in Europe,
might have a point.
he's not involved. I've noticed that, so that might be something.
Well,
to
then
look
it's
out
definitely makeable. The fight will be in Europe, wouldn't it? So
yeah,
I like that. I think that's a good first choice. I'm going to rubber stamp it, Andy.
Right, it's just
do we agree on that, lads?
Yeah.
Sam, Alex, can you stop mouth breathing and join in the conversation, please?
Yeah, I'm all for that.
Back to bed, mate. Sam, you up for it? Stephen Orman, first fight, March. Take that as a yes. Andy, you have it's one tick for you, mate. Good start.
Yes.
Second fight of the year, please. We'll have Orman, and I'm gonna say a 10-rounder for his comeback. How about that?
Aye, I'll be happy with that. We'll take those terms.
I'd go for a South American 9-rounder.
The week after, yeah? Cheers. But don't cash the check for 6 weeks after the fight, all right? Number 2.
My second choice. Now, I've had quite a wee debate with myself where to go for this weight. Now, he's obviously looks about 28, 29. He's older. I know he looks really young. He looks about 18, but he's older. So, and obviously with the setback as well, I think it's time. He really needs to push on. So I would fling him in European level after the Orman fight, and I would go for Emiliano Marcelli.
Right, I'm not familiar with Marcelli. Give me who's he fought?
He twatted Matthews.
He beat Derry Matthews.
Right.
He's ranked about, I don't know, maybe about 5 or 6 in Europe or something like that, and I think he's got 32 wins and 1 draw, no defeats.
How old is he?
I think he's about 33, something like that.
He's 39.
Is he 39?
Yeah.
So he's right for the picking then, isn't he? Yeah.
There you go. That's a good
Mate,
fight.
that's a great piece of matchmaking. And I imagine you'd be able to get him over to the UK, no problem.
No problem. I think he's been like a kind of small time Italian promoter. It may have been that guy that Paulie fought for when he fought there, Milan or whatever it was.
Yeah, he fought Diaz, Gabriel Diaz, who
that's right,
Cordrew last, but that was a while ago.
I reckon that could headline a second-tier matchroom show. I reckon. On Sky Sport, decent fight.
Look him up on BoxRec. You would have probably heard him before.
He's not fought anybody though. Literally, he's fought Matthews. I'll let you decide if he's nobody or not.
No, see, my thinking behind it is he's got a good kind of Euro rating level, and that plays into my next plan. So this fight will serve as a final eliminator for the European title.
Oh,
see, I've got it all mapped out. See, I've got it all mapped out. I should have been a matchmaker.
We love a final eliminator here at Sky. You're hitting me the right notes, mate.
This is a final eliminator, not a final eliminator.
That's not as good. Okay, right. Go on anyway. You've got goodwill in the bank now. We've approved two fights.
So that would be that. The second fight would be in June or July, and the third fight would be about October, November time.
Yeah.
And, European title, current European champion, Edis Tatley. I think that's 3 good fights.
Is Tatley still going to be European champ at the end of the year? I'm not so sure he is.
Has he not got a fight lined up?
But hypothetically speaking, as of this moment, when I'm doing my fantasy matchmaking,
no.
Kevin Avery Mitchell is playing.
You have to map out what you think is going to happen with the other fighters. They are trying to make Kevin Mitchell Edis Tatley as we speak. And if Tatley's not a puncher, they'll just rob him on the cards and Mitchell will get the European belt.
I was going to actually put Kevin Mitchell in one of the 3, but I decided not to because I wanted to go the European route, and that's why I've got Marcelli, and obviously as an eliminator, and then I've got Tatley. So I could possibly move
Mitchell now, his career would be over.
So see, I was going to do that, but that's a fight I don't see happening. I don't think Hearn will make that fight because he's too invested in Kevin Mitchell. So that's why I thought, well, we'll have Marcelli fight and then Tatley.
So the end game, Andy, is to get Campbell into the mandatory slot for the Euro title for his final fight of the year.
Yes.
Okay, I think that's sound. I'd be surprised if it was Tatley still, but I think that's a good plan. Guys, what are we saying?
That's not a bad shout at all. It's a good year for him.
Very good year.
I think that would regain some momentum. 3 times is a good amount for him. But I feel like there's an elephant in the room, and that's his dad. He's been getting in the way for too long. What are we going to do about his dad?
What are we supposed to do?
Well, we've got to do something, because he's derailed his career once already. Can't have it happening again. I'm losing money here. I'm a Sky executive, mate. I don't care about that.
I've got a, well, why the fuck's Luke Campbell at lightweight? Why?
He's too old to move back down now.
Yeah, but why did he decide to go in at lightweight? Who's told him that? Because that's a fucking stupid thing. He's clearly not fucking got shit all power at that weight.
He left it a while from the amateurs to turning pro, though, didn't he? So
Yeah, but not that long. Not that long.
Long
Where
enough
would
for him
you
to
have
go
him?
in dancing on ice.
Fuck knows, but is it bantamweight amateur?
Yeah, but there's no way you can make bantamweight now.
Oh no, but fucking hell, there's a fair few weights he could have shows below lightweight. He was banging on saying he could have met fucking Loma at a catch weight, which would have been below super feather. So he should be able to make 130 at least.
To make super feather, to be honest.
It's fucking stupid.
I think Andy's idea is pretty good, even if he is at the weight. I'm tempted to rubber stamp this and green light and give Andy the 300k advance. To be honest, cash.
Is that a Warren advance or what?
Yeah, it's an empty briefcase. Andy, do you want the empty briefcase, mate? Your idea has been accepted by Sky.
Well, I would just like to say thanks, and it's been great. I really enjoyed negotiations, and hope to do business with you in the future.
Now what you're supposed to do is make some crazy demands in terms of ring walks and appearances on ringside and all this nonsense.
Well, ringside is folded, isn't it? So if we can get an IFL TV interview for maybe 5 or 6 times a week, then I'll be happy.
5 or 6 a week. Okay.
No, you want to be going on the Coogan Cassius show on Fight Pass if that still exists.
I'd get on the Cassius and Helder show instead.
On Box Nation, I don't know if I like that as a Sky man. I don't know if I like that. I'm having second thoughts about you, Andy. Don't think you could be trusted, mate.
I'm a very trustable.
You've talked your way out of it. You mentioned Cassius and Helder. I'm not a fan of those two.
But it's a good promotion, good way to get Luke's big fights out there, do you know what I mean? Get people talking about them, get interested.
How about this as a compromise? I'll give you... You can go on Spencer Fearon's podcast twice during the year.
No deal.
And
Not that
will only run adverts in odd-numbered rounds during your fights.
Silent will have you on, mate. Don't worry.
I'll go and I'll counter deal, and I'll say I'll go on the Boxing Asylum podcast, and you can run 6 ad breaks out of 12. Deal.
Yeah, it's a deal. You have yourself a deal, mate. We will see Luke Campbell in March on Sky Sports.
Brilliant. Looking forward to it.
Well played. Right, whoever's following that, that's a pretty tall order.
Yeah, right. I'll go.
Okay, Alex, there you go. Take up the mantle, mate. Who's your prospect? And
I'm taking up. Hold on, I had a bit of feedback there. Yeah, I'm taking up my man Erickson Lubin. He is a super welterweight or junior middleweight, whatever you want to call it. American little superstar, little kid. He's quite young, I think. He's 20, I think, just 20. Yeah, he was turned 20 a couple of months ago. I'm going on this on the spin because I haven't really done much of research. But I thought of a couple of opponents and the route that I plan on going down with him. And I'm going to go the WBA route.
Wait a sec, mate. Let us get into character. Who's he signed with now? He's with PBC, isn't he?
Yes,
Heyman?
he is with Heyman at the moment.
I would. Yeah.
So we're playing the Heyman role now. So we're the PBC executives. I'll be Espinosa. You guys could be Heyman. Okay.
I'd just say though, if you're going to take him on, I would probably ask to get his box rec photo changed.
Right. So that's the first condition.
That
box rec. Okay.
What's wrong with his box rec photo?
Right. Look at that.
Yeah. What's wrong with that?
He looks like he's a fucking prize winner.
Alex.
Yes.
I was actually going to pick him. Did you steal him from me when I mentioned this in the chat?
No,
Did you?
I pretty much just took this in the last 10 minutes.
Oh, all right, you did right. Okay, it's actually a good choice because he's got quite an exciting future. So
Yeah, I remember watching a fair bit of him at the end of the year, rounding up stuff, and I was quite impressed. And I think that decent little prospects. I thought I'll go with him.
I'm looking through his record. The name I recognise is Orlando Laura, who was getting knocked about by Keith Thurman about 5 years ago. So, who's his best win? What's the upside? Sell it to me.
That is pretty much Orlando Laura, but again, he is a very young man. He is just a prospect, as this game suggests. He's only been a pro for just over a year now. I think he turned pro at the end of 2013. No, was that 2 years, I suppose? Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, he's only had a few fights. He's had a few fights, a very high percentage knockout ratio, a very spectacular knockout. A highlight reel, as it were. Against if you see his fight against Alexis Camacho, the last one, it was
Tottenham
certainly a
Bomb
knockout of the year.
Factory. What a great name for a venue.
Well, that's it. The kid obviously needs a bit of a boost, and that's my job. And we're going to be taking him.
Can you
to
explain
new
the
heights.
nickname The Hammer, please? Because as a Kevin Mitchell fan, I quite like hammers.
Well, I don't think Ericsson Lubin is a fan of the mighty West Ham, but I think that the hammer comes either from his dad owns a lot of hammers, or he's got a very strong punch, and he does.
Where's he from? He's American, right?
Yeah, he's from Florida, Orlando, Florida.
sorry, can I just clear something up there?
Go on.
He's actually called the Hammer because he's a huge fan of Peter Sutcliffe.
Excellent. Well, that's an appeal to the British market there for as well. So.
Don't get enough of that in boxing these days. I'm also, as a BBC executive, a big Peter Sutcliffe fan. So,
well, this is an excellent sell to the British market then, because after all, Ericsson Lubin is styling himself after Peter Sutcliffe, the Yorkshire Ripper. He'll be a big sell.
Well, also
Yorkshire,
there's also another boxer that's a big, massive fan of Peter, and that's Badou Jack.
Very true, mate. Very true.
I'd say that Espinosa's more a Ted Bundy fan, though.
Oh yeah, that's a very good point. This is what I'm trying to do. I can appeal to Espinosa just through the nature and ability of Ericsson Lubin, and I can expand elsewhere with his more sort of niche talents and abilities.
I will, Alex. I've got a few questions, mate. I'm liking the sound of this, especially the Sutcliffe overtones.
Yeah, carry on.
When are you proposing to kick off the year? I see that he last fought in December, I think, right?
Yeah, I think he can come straight back out. I mean, that was a very quick win for him. I think he can come out in early February. I think we can get him back out.
Early February. I'm thinking the week before Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
Maybe get some pink shorts going on.
Yeah, I think we can
get
some. He's a handsome young lad as well. I think we can get him appealing to the ladies certainly. Around Valentine's Day, we get him kitted out in some nice pink. Maybe a bit of a themed show. Hammers for love or something. I'm not sure. Yeah, Valentine's Day Massacre. I think that's never been used before, so we'll go for that one.
I just thought of it. Actually.
Well, that's excellent. We seem to have quite a lot of drop-offs on this show, and then they keep joining. I think that's an iPhone issue. So if you keep seeing people dropping off this call, that is iPhone knobheads. Anyway.
Just get on your fucking laptops, for fuck's sake. Have a bit of professional. We're supposed to be executives, and you're on your phones.
I was looking at a few opponents.
So give me an opponent for February.
Morris Webber.
Right, that name rings a bell, but I'm afraid I'm gonna have to ask you who he's fought.
Not that many big names. He fought Jack Colsey in his last fight. I believe that was in May. That was for the WBA interim title, and he hasn't fought since. He got beat up in that fight. Lost quite badly, I seem to remember. And I think that is a very good entrance level and a step up for my boy here. If we get him over, I think that we've also got the financial backing to do this, and it will get him a foothold to begin with in the WBA.
The budget is 70k for both fighters' purses. Can you do it on 70k?
70k might be a bit of a push. I might have to offer some further incentives for Webber and his people to make that fine.
He's old as well, Webber.
Well, I'm not expecting a particularly difficult challenge at this early venture. Like I said, this is just a step up fight. My boy still does need to learn. He still needs to get some experience under his belt, as it were. And I think that Weber, having fought at a relatively higher level and failed, is the sort of type of opponent that we need for Ericsson Lubin.
So you're going for the old beat him better than the other guy did?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that he's got 2 losses on his record, Weber, but never been knocked out, never been stopped. So I think that Ericsson could be the first man to do that.
What are you proposing? 10 rounds, 8 rounds?
A 10-rounder. There's no need to stretch ourselves. I mean, like I said, he did just have a fight a couple of weeks ago, and I think that 10-rounder, perfect setup for him. Going forward to, I think, maybe a useless trinket in a few months' time after that.
How big is the ring going to be?
Yeah, I've not really thought about that one.
Sorry, I need exact.
This is only going to be an undercard. You see, it's not up to us to how big the ring is. You see.
Okay. Whose undercard do you see going on then?
I think that in February, Heyman is likely to put out. He's got quite a lot scheduled for January. I'm just trying to think of what fighters he's got scheduled then, and what more he could possibly put out.
I think one of the Charlos might be back in February. Possibly.
Yeah, I think maybe the Boxer Charlo, so we'll have a nice big ring on there, I think.
Jamel, I think that is, yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember their names.
I genuinely still don't know. It's been years, and I still don't know. It's terrible.
They could be a future opponent for my boy as well, so I should fucking know.
Has anyone got a problem with Maurice Weber versus Lubin on February, let's say, like the 10th or something, the weekend before Valentine's Day? What do we think of that, lads?
Yeah, I've got no problem with that.
Lubin will get buffed up.
Andy, thoughts? Cheers, mate. Right, Alex. Let's say ideal scenario. Lubin knocks him out in 6 rounds. Where does he go next?
Well, obviously this is it's going to be on PBC. I think this will probably be an NBC show as well because Valentine's link, and I think that we want to put him certainly out there to as big of an audience as possible. Like I said, to appeal to those lovely ladies out there. So I think after that we've got to really step it up and push for a higher ranking. And looking down the ranking list at the moment, obviously this might change, but I was thinking maybe the very unfortunate Sergey Rabchenko.
Yes, I like it.
The issue here, obviously, is wrestling him away from Ricky Hatton, and Ricky Hatton, as we know, can be very reluctant to send his boys away into tough fights for anything. But maybe it seems to me that he's given up on Rabchenko, and maybe he's willing to just cash him out. And I think that we can organise something with Ricky to further fund his coke addiction.
Rabchenko's in that WBC Cup.
That tournament?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When is that scheduled for?
Is that set in stone?
Yeah, there was some more bullshit getting spouted about it.
When's that scheduled for?
I don't know, so let's just say March.
I don't think there's a concrete schedule yet. This is why I think it's nonsense. It might not happen. But okay, let's say Rabchenko gets eliminated early in that tournament, which is quite probable. Then he might be free by the summer.
Yeah, we'll go with that.
Do a job on Rabchenko, another 10-rounder. I like it.
I know for that one. I believe we're going to go for the possibly a WBA. Do they have like an American version of their belt, like a Americana?
Yeah.
International, intercontinental. Well, it wouldn't be the intercontinental, but maybe the international belt for that one.
That is cheeky. I love it.
This is going to set him up for a title shot.
Start calling him a world champion from sort of July onwards.
Yeah, I mean, not necessarily a world champion. We're not going to overhype him too much, I don't think. We certainly got to sell him on his strongest points, but he's got to be set up with the rankings, I think, and the WBA is the way to go because, in my mind, what's going to happen soon, of course, is the WBA. For some reason, they still got Floyd as their champion at 154. As the super champion, the regular champion is Erislandy Lara. We've got no interest in fighting Erislandy Lara. It's too risky and quite simply not worth it. So we're going to hope that Lara gets promoted and we'll storm in for the regular belt towards the end of the year.
I like it. And then Would you defend the belt in the final fight? What do you think?
I think that we could probably fight for the belt. I think in possibly the final fight. I think we're going to aim for at least 4 fights in 2016. Like I say, he is still learning.
Greedy.
He's greedy, but he is young. He did have, I think, 5 fights last year. Again, quite a few the year before that. It's the way it is. He's young. He needs to get out there. He needs to take advantage of his talent and the sort of the youth that he's got. And I think that just fighting regularly will do that. Maybe someone that isn't on the WBA rankings at that time. Maybe a familiar name, Gabe Rosado, will come down and we can fight him and beat him up. We know he never wins at 154, so that could be a good little fight for us.
Yeah, I don't think he wins much at 160 either, to be fair.
Yeah,
And he'll be coming off a loss to Canelo, won't he?
Exactly. That would be an even bigger boost to our name as well. I mean, we can fight Rosado after he loses to Canelo. And he's obviously been on pay-per-view then. It might be quite difficult to get him from a monetary standpoint, but he's certainly going to be there as an option, I think.
I agree with you. I'm going to throw a few names at you for the third fight of the year, because I feel like Rosado might be a little bit out of our price range. But anyone else join in if you've got any ideas in terms of guys to come in. Ishay Smith.
Brian Rose.
Brian Rose is moving up.
You don't want to throw a prospect in with the Lion, mate. It's a career.
I think Brian Rose would move back down if you offered him like 15 quid.
Brian Rose, he wouldn't come over. I don't think he'd come over. I think he's happy to stay in England.
What about Carson Jones?
Not a bad shout. Alfonso Gomez. Alex, stop us when you hear one you really like.
Roger Mayweather.
Yes. Sold.
Yeah, that would do it.
Freddie Roach.
How about finish the year on Willie Nelson? He's got a decent ranking. He will take the fight. Very low. He's very, very badly paid.
Very good country singer as well.
Winnable. Yeah, exactly. He's a very elderly man. Likes to play guitar. That's a winnable fight.
That's a good shout, Shep.
It's a winnable fight.
Nelson, he bet Tony Harrison. He bet.
Yeah.
He beat Tony Harrison last year.
But I think you've missed the blatantly obvious one. So the big money fight, you'd have to travel for it. But Anthony Mundine. Pay-per-view.
What, 154?
Yeah.
154?
Pay-per-view in Sydney or Melbourne.
It would be paid. That's true.
Put the man into retirement again.
It could be on a Lucas Brown undercard when he's unifying the heavyweight division as well.
Yeah. TBE, the boiled egg.
Imagine Brown having a unification fight in Australia.
Well, we're coming on to the heavyweights later, so save it for that.
We are, yeah, sorry. I won't imagine that for now. Yeah, I'm struggling with the final name, Alex. I like the first two. I really like the Rabchenko fight, especially. I think that's a really good one. It makes a lot of sense. Let's call it a.
What about John Jackson?
He's a.
Yeah. He fought. Andy Lee fought.
That would be quite a big step up, I think, and a great. For
what about John Thompson then?
Oh, fucking John Thompson.
See, I was considering going to WBO, right?
Alex, I've got a perfect one for you. Frank Galaza, final fight of the year.
Yeah.
Very, very winnable. Got a bit of a name. He's a known guy to fans, but is beatable. And
didn't he get sputtered out last time?
Got knocked out in November, I think, by a sort of regional level fighter. But he's got a name, and if Lubin could knock him out well, I think that would be quite a statement win. I like that as a fight. Do you accept it?
Yeah, that's a great little fight.
He's actually ranked like right next to him on BoxRec, in the sort of high 50s. Right, so Alex has got 3 out of 3 as well. I think my standards are quite low as an executive. Pissing money up against the wall. Who wants to come on next?
I'll go next then.
And then he leaves the chat. Nice one. I'll go next then. Immediately drops off the call. Like clockwork.
Oh, he's back
Oh, he's
on
back.
now.
Yeah, I'll go next.
Oh, nice one, mate. Do you want to drop off the call again after you say that?
It's my phone.
Is there an echo on this line?
Right.
Andy, can you tell these idiots how to behave, please, mate?
I know I'm being so mature and responsible tonight, but everybody else please rise to my level. Thank you.
I've chosen easier one than Andy and Alex. I'm already on an upwards trajectory. You know him as Callum Mundo Smith. We like to call him Professor Crusty Neck.
You're tackling the
Fuck's
professor,
sake.
are you, mate?
I'm tackling the professor here. Right. For my first fight, coming off the Rocky Fielding blowout, I'm going to go for another trainer grudge match, and I'm going to chuck Callum Smith in with Martin Murray. It's a fight he should win. It'll be a difficult fight, and Murray will give him the reins.
Would Murray take that coming off a loss? I don't think he would, unless it was for very big money.
It's for the... But this is what I was thinking. But then he wouldn't,
Smith doesn't
because
have a proper belt.
he's got the silver title, and he's ranked 1, so beating him...
Would Murray risk it for a chance to win the silver title? Do you know what I mean?
Well, he's in the... Well, rumours that he's in talks to fight for Paul Smith, and that would be for nothing, so...
Yeah, but that's an easy win, whereas Callum Smith would knock him out, probably. Do you know what I mean? I think you'd need to give Murray, maybe Murray later in the year. I think Murray needs to get a couple of wins under his belt before he fights Callum Smith. I like the fight. I just don't think Murray would take it unless we paid a lot of money. And we're Matchroom. We're not inclined to pay very much money to our fighters, especially opponents.
Shep, what if the fight's at Anfield and if it sells out?
It can't be Anfield because it's Liam Smith versus Canelo at Anfield.
Oh, right. Sorry, I knew there was one of them that was fighting Anfield.
So I read that on Twitter, and then it's in the summer. Liam Smith is unifying against Shane Mosley, also at Anfield.
Twitter.
I knew that was coming from someone. Right. Sam, I'm sorry, mate, but it's the first rejection of the day.
Ooh.
I am rejecting Martin Murray as the first opponent of the year for Callum Smith.
That was pretty terrible, actually.
Yeah, I think
Hope
you
feel
were
bad
way.
about yourself.
What can I bring Patrick Nielsen over?
Yeah,
No.
yeah, sure.
Good fight.
But
No, Patrick Nielsen ain't going to come over. He just won on a fucking massive pay-per-view in Denmark. You ain't going to be able to afford him.
what, as a Sky Sports headliner?
Yeah, but
pay him a decent money?
they're backing Callum Smith. It's not like
He'll want loads of money. The Sauerlands will want loads of money. He's like probably their second biggest star at the
Yeah,
moment.
but Sauerlands are capping on to earn all the time, aren't they?
yeah,
So
and they've got.
What about if
fighting
Smith
budgets that they're
travelled
pushing.
for it?
He's not going to travel, is he?
No, Sam, you're representing him. You're Joe
Smith won't. Callum Smith, Professor Crusty Neck will not travel. We're keeping him in Liverpool. We sell out the Echo.
lost his passport. Okay.
Oh, you really fucked me off now.
Mate, you lost
My yearly
two
plans.
fights.
My yearly plans are up in smoke.
In record time. We've thrown out the first two fights.
Oh,
You've probably got like the best prospect going.
I know what the third one's going to be something fucking stupid.
I know
It's
the
gonna be
third
like
one's me.
Rocked out of retirement or something mental like that.
Kovalev.
you stumped me now.
Who was the third one? I'll be honest.
I thought Sky would go wild for their Martin Murray fight. I really did.
Not a chance.
Yeah, they would, mate. Maybe at the end of 2016.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
no,
no.
the end of 2016, he's fighting Badu Jack.
Fuck's sake. That's a possibility. That's a possibility. I'll give
only happen if Smith has a belt and is also mandatory for.
He will be mandatory though because he is already number one, isn't he?
Yeah, he's number one.
Oh, for WBC. Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'll give him that.
Well, see, that'll be a huge fight over here because obviously you've got such a huge fan of Peter Sutcliffe coming over here.
I actually think, yeah, Jack would jump at the chance to fight in Yorkshire.
yeah, so it might be at Bramwell Lane, like Hearn likes to say.
No, Marquez has booked that out, mate, for the summer.
Yeah.
Marquez is doing loads of sparring at Bramwell Lane all summer.
If anybody, as well, I'm just going to do a bit of a shout. If anybody's got the tweet when Hearn called me an idiot and a liar when I told him he was wrong about that, please send it me.
Oh, what? Where you said that physically it couldn't do like that number of people, and he just said you were.
No, because he was banging on saying he booked Bramwell Lane for last summer whereas he's forgot that some people happen to know things about what's going on. And the ground wasn't being able to be used. So I was like, yeah, you're lying. The ground's like, there's work being done on it. And he goes, no, you're an idiot, you're lying. And then sort of, I don't think he blocked me, but he muted me for a bit.
Yeah, I think I've been muted by him as well. It's a shame. He must have done it by accident. Right, so, Sam, I'll tell you what, we'll offer you a lifeline, mate. I'm going to give you a clue.
Go on.
The Jack fight is fine as the end goal, but I think you need to chase the WBC rankings a bit and maybe just try to tread water.
Well, you're going to need a final eliminator at some point.
Yeah, and then maybe a Tiki final after that.
How about a rematch with, what's his name? Mendy.
For who?
Smith. 'Cause that's a typical Hearn sort of fight. Just get someone who's already beat pretty easily and just to tread water. Might you look at that?
I'm looking at the rankings now. It's pretty slim pickings. Like the top group they're all on pretty big money, aren't they? And
Yeah,
they're not...
I can't bring them over because you'll all cry about it.
What about Porky Medina, the guy who knocked Jalen Love out?
What about Jalen Love?
I was going to say him, but you'll say he's going to cost too much again.
Well, I just don't think they'd send him over. I just don't think it would happen. I'm looking at guys like Rubio, but he wouldn't come, would he?
Paraban's going to be a hard sell as well because De Gea smashed him in 3 rounds, didn't he?
Yeah.
He hasn't. He's fought 3 times since then.
Yeah,
but
I was looking earlier on. He's beat loads of Mexicans since then, hasn't he?
What do you think about a trip to Canada to fight Lucien Boutte?
They're not going to send him over, are they?
Will they not? I mean, Boutte, he pays
That's
a
an
lot.
easy win for Smith. Yeah.
Smith and knock him out.
James De Gea didn't make too much easy work of Boutte. When Boutte
That's
tried,
the thing. Will they? But would you go with it because of obviously the struggles that De Gea had?
I think De Gea was very, very undertrained for that fight.
Sam's not really fought this through well at all, has he? I mean, he's not doing well at all.
I did mine in 10 minutes and I got it fucking spot on.
That's because you went.
I've got one.
Go on then.
Jose, but it's contingent on you have to pronounce it.
Go on.
Jose, Uzcategui.
He's fighting De Gea.
Wait.
But
Go on, Sam.
It's an easy one.
Not so clear how you say that.
Yeah, that could be near the end of the year.
Rocco calls him Dynamite Dave.
Uzcategui, the guy who fought Korobov.
I thought it was Uzcategui, is it not?
Well, according to HBO, Uzcategui.
Yeah, but they also say some mad shit. What else?
HBO are pretty good usually on the pronunciation. They usually get it right. Better than Sky, anyway. He knocked out Julius Jackson in 2 rounds last time out. Lost to Korobov about 18 months ago.
Hopefully that's on a matchroom card. Can you imagine John McDonald saying that name? Oh Jesus! He would have a field day. I
can't imagine it. Can you help me? Can you help me out?
He would start at 7 o'clock and then 9 o'clock it would still be in the guy's second name.
I think he's from Venezuela. So imagine McDonald saying Venezuela. That would be amazing.
What about Butte's Canadian brother at super middleweight, who has got a very good name, Schiller Hippolyte?
Oh Christ! Yeah, but isn't that's almost a step down from Fielding? Honestly,
this is why it's hard because I'm trying to match him up with people that's better than Fielding, but you as head of Sky will approve.
Caparello. The guy Kovalev beat, he's dropped back down. He's at super middle now. Because then you could have the mental guys on Sky saying he did it quicker than Kovalev, trying to imply that Callum Smith is better.
Is he ranked with the WBC? I'm looking now and I can't.
Well,
I don't know where he's
You need one guy who isn't, and then you need an eliminator, and then you need Badu Jack. So you need to have your eliminator at some point against someone who's half decent with the WBC.
Go on, Sam. We're counting on you.
Like I said, I'm looking at the rankings. There's Gilberto Ramirez.
He's fighting for the. He's got a first bid for the
Yeah,
WBO.
yeah.
So he's out the window.
Both Durrells, Alexander Brand.
We're not fighting the Durrells, are we? We're not going
What
to.
about Anthony Durrell? That's makeable, I reckon, for an eliminator.
That's not makeable over here, is it? I'd have to travel for that.
Yeah, but I think that's quite an easy win for Smith. I think they might travel for that genuinely because Andre would be tough, but I think Anthony would be quite a lot easier for Callum. I think it might even knock him out. Genuinely,
No, he's dropped off.
Who's dropped off?
They have.
Fuck's sake!
They'll be back in a minute. I genuinely don't know what the fucking issue is with us.
Back again, are you?
Yeah.
Right. Anthony Durrell. You're Joe Gallagher. Does Callum Smith travel to, let's say, New York for that fight?
I don't think they'd let him travel. I really don't.
Well, they're letting fucking Stephen Smith's ending up travelling. Fucking Paul Smith obviously travelled. Liam Smith
I reckon
hasn't
they would,
travelled.
you know. I reckon Gallagher would fancy that fight and would send him. Especially because the champion, Jack is a beatable champion, isn't he? For Callum.
He's definitely going to have to travel for the Jack fight as well.
Yeah.
Well,
definitely.
that can be like a
All right,
Vegas
then. All
card.
right, we'll send him over to America to get experience of fighting abroad. We'll take that.
I'm going to give you a first name.
Go on.
It's tough, isn't it?
It's harder than you think matching Callum Smith, this.
Yeah, it is.
You were ridiculing me this fight, Evan. You're in the same boat.
Reyes? What about Reyes, the guy that Chavez Jr. fought last time out? Because Chavez Jr. couldn't knock him out. You could do the you could say
Well, Sky love that as well, don't they?
You could just say if Callum Smith knocked him out, you could say that Chavez Jr. couldn't do it and all this nonsense. That would work.
Yeah, we could take that. Sky
We've
love
saved-
that as well, don't they?
We've saved you. Your job is safe, Joe.
Only fucking just.
Tesco.
I'm on an aura warning now.
Right,
That's
so we're
you've
going.
got to contend with Tesco Joe as well. So.
So it's going to be a big year for Callum Smith. He's going to end up as WBC champion, you reckon?
I think he'll end up fighting for it. Whether he wins it or not is a different story. But
Under your expert management.
yeah, like the Salter brothers, no. He'll end up fighting on Dave if it was left to me. Go on then, Paul.
Do I need to say what I'm picking?
No, we all know.
I can't remember, actually. Can you remind the listeners?
Alexander Usyk.
He's not a prospect. He's already got his fucking title lined up.
Doesn't matter.
That's
He's not
ridiculous.
fought for it. He's not fought for it.
You can't have Usyk. That's no fair. No,
He's had 9 fights.
But that's like me
What?
picking Crawford at 147 and being like, well, he hasn't fought for a title there yet. Go on, pick a prospect.
Deakin. And Ryan Bivins.
No, you said Deakin. You said Deakin. I'm taking the first answer.
Deakin.
Who's Deakin fighting? When's Deakin next out? Come on.
So, obviously he's not got a TV deal, has he? So have I got to sort of...
Get it on Dave.
I could put him on Dave.
Deakin on Dave.
But but I think we're just gonna throw him in hard at 140. So first up, we're gonna derail the hype train around Jack Catterall.
I was going to say, mate, Deakin would smash him to bits.
So just gonna get straight in there. We're gonna end that hype train. Get the deal with Warren.
What about
If
The
you
Lion?
don't
What about the Lion?
if you don't pick a certain French boxer.
you need to fight a French boxer, the Lion?
He's a bum.
What?
I think first fight, Deakin makes a statement. He retires Bradley Saunders. How about that?
I think
No?
Saunders is done already.
Yeah, so Deakin can finish off the remains, mate. It's an easy sell.
I think we just go straight in for Catterall. Take the money and the big W. Easy
Right,
work.
is that going to be for the belt?
Can be.
Isn't he British champion?
Oh no, he's not actually. Tyrone Nurse is British champion.
This be
Right, so
eliminated
Deakin's
for it.
just going to walk into a Catterall fight. I like it.
Yeah. So I think after go in, take out Catterall, get a deal with Warren.
How does he beat Carroll? What is it? Knockout? Points? What?
Beat him on points, but it'll be a split decision. Be a clear win, but obviously,
going to a split decision, right?
yeah. Be a 12-round fight. He'll win eight rounds, but a bit of dodgy tinkering with the cards.
You're in
He'll only get a
Terry
split
O'Connor's
decision.
on the cards and he's messing about you.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going to happen. A brown envelope might fall in his lap, but we'll walk out with a win. Then we're just going to go big and go for the former TBE. We're going to go for Cuenca.
Cuenca after that, yeah.
Hasn't Cuenca got a rematch with that guy who knocked him out?
Trojanovski.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we're already anticipating he's going to shit himself and quit again.
Yeah, exactly. So he's potentially coming off 2 losses. He's damaged good.
Back-to-back losses, but they'll both be quits. Deacon's going to stop him legitimately.
In what round?
Deacon will stop him he'll spark him out for the first time.
No, he'll have him down early. Some heavy body work in the first 4 rounds. Then he's just going to be head hunting. He's going to catch him 8 or 9 rounds and just put him on ice and into retirement.
Excellent.
So we're in the summer. Deacon's retired 2 named boxers already. Right, how's the year going to end? What's the final fight?
Pacquiao.
Where's it taking place?
No, they're going to Macau.
I don't think it's going to be Pacquiao though. I think Pacquiao's going to retire, so we're going to get Broner over to the Blue Water. In fact, but we might have Broner at York Hall, I think, and have the Upton clan on the undercard.
Yeah, but they'll just overshadow the main event, mate.
That's the point. So Broner doesn't look as bad when he gets beat by Deacon.
You've got it easy because you haven't got any television networks to.
Oh no, the Broner fight will be televised.
What is it on, Dave?
What channel?
I'm not sure. Look, Challenge TV have been in contact about that.
Do you think Floyd will come out of
between
retirement
2 old
for this?
episodes of Bullseye?
Well, yeah, the problem will be solved, so they're just going to try and market it that way. That's what the car's going to be called, problem solving. And everyone will think it's some shit catchphrase.
That's not bad. How is Robin Deacon going to cope with Adrian Broner at the press conference? Because he can get quite mouthy.
I think it's fine. He's got a club foot, so if he steps out of line, he'll just drag his foot back.
And Robin Deacon is notoriously, like, he doesn't lose his temper, especially not with random fans.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
Very level-headed. Right, so Deacon, mate, I'm rubber stamping all of them. Green light. Deacon is.
Do you think that this can entice Floyd out of retirement?
That's the plan for 2017. Now I can't go on.
You
to
don't want to
the
get ahead of
next 3 fights.
yourself, right? Okay.
After Broner, if you want me
Floyd
to just.
wouldn't take that as his first fight back. It's risky.
Yeah, but we've got the next 3 fights mapped out already. So he beats Broner, gets the super belt. Then we decide. Well, Crawford and Postle don't want none of that work, so they've decided to fight each other. So we've looked for the big guns at 147, and he fights Kell Brook. It's not at Bramall Lane. It's at Ponds Forge.
Surely, Anfield. It's got to be.
Well, it's at Ponds Forge. Hillsborough
Speaking
Centre were
of
busy that
trains,
week.
go up to 147.
He will do. It's in a year's time. He's going to grow into it.
That was quite ominous. What do you think he will do? What are you going to do to it?
Well, we're in talks with Memo to see if he'll come on board.
Oh, you're getting Heredia over. Okay.
Yeah, strength and conditioning. So, yeah, he's going to be doing.
Are you having the Holy Trinity? Aren't you having Nemo, Justin Fortune, and Alex Ariza all working non-stop around the clock?
And
yeah, Alex
trained
Ariza.
by Javier Capetillo. There's a reference.
Alex Ariza had to go though because he kept taking the piss out of Deacon's club foot. So he's asked to leave. But what we're going to do is we're going to fight Brook early 2017 because Spencer's actually going to duck the Brook fight and fight Thurman. We've already had confirmation of that. So, yeah, he's going to fight Brook.
Right, I've only got one. Oh, they've dropped. Never mind. I'll ask when he gets back.
I think that was karma there. They all dropped off at the same time while talking about Thurman ducking Robin Deakin.
That's Al Heyman conspiring against us.
I think that's the biggest obstacle in Deakin's career at the moment, to be honest.
He's got
It's
ears
about
and
how
eyes
you get
everywhere.
around the fact that the promoters don't want him. They've got a vested interest. I like this. I'm green lighting it.
I've got an issue that I need to raise with Ainsley when he gets back. But
He's here.
Ainsley, you've got questions to answer.
yeah, I've only got one. I've only got one issue with this. How are you going to appeal to the Peter Sutcliffe market?
Good question. What we're going to do, we're going to have a number of high-profile visits to Peter Sutcliffe in prison. And what we're possibly going to look at doing is release a charity single for this Christmas called "A Ripper in Need" to raise some funds for a new appeal.
Excellent.
What? So you're trying to get Sutcliffe freed?
Yes, and that builds onto the 2017 thing, because I don't think he'll be released for the Brook fight, although he will be watching it in prison. Sort that out with the governor. But we're actually going to do, after that, we're going to do something mental, and we're going to drop to featherweight for the super fight with Josh Warrington. And he'll have picked up a vacant belt by this point. Sutcliffe will be released and he'll be walking Deakin into the ring at Ellen Road for the fight with Warrington.
I'm muting them. Sorry, it's unprofessional. Keep going, Andrew.
So yeah, he's gonna be carrying out the belts. So it's gonna be like 2 belts McDonald. Sutcliffe will be carrying out the belts.
He'll be a full weight world champion. Will Sutcliffe work the corner?
He will be. Remember Fearon when Hamilton fought Woodhouse? It's going to be that sort of role where he's just getting in the way and being a prick.
We've just had a suggestion on the YouTube channel. Peter Sutcliffe can actually carry the belts in towards the Floyd fight.
Oh, but he's carrying them in at Ellen Road, so I don't know if we want to do it twice.
I don't think Sutcliffe would travel for that.
No, well, that's the thing. We're not going to travel for a Floyd fight.
Well, it'll be
to come to us. Anfield or Wembley. That's it. It's the only 2 places that really matter.
Maybe both. Yeah, half and half. First 6 rounds at Anfield, championship rounds at Wembley.
That's a good idea. Helicopters ringside.
We should have done this one last because mine's going to sound really, really boring now compared to this.
But yeah.
Right, so that completes the Sutcliffe, Warrington, Deakin triangle over the next 2 years, right?
Yeah.
What are we calling the pay-per-view?
Oh.
It's Hammer time.
Doesn't make sense, but I love it. Makes no sense.
How about raping Robin Deakin? That's his new name.
Dan, what do you think, mate?
What, the pay-per-view name?
No, just the plan.
Oh, I think it's brilliant.
I think it's unanimous. It's a unanimous yes, Ainsley. Congratulations. Welcome aboard.
Brilliant.
Deakin Promotions and Matchroom Sport are going to go places together.
For the pay-per-view name, could you just call it Broadmoor Brawl?
Oh, see, that's
nice.
what we could have done. We could have had the Broner fight in Broadmoor.
Broadmoor.
We could do.
About Broadmoor.
Did you just say Broner? Adrian Broner?
Yeah.
Oh. No problem. AIDS-ridden cloner.
Andy, keep it professional. Right, guys, I've got my final one. Who am I pitching to?
Pitch to Alex.
Who wants? All right, Alex, you are the.
Who's your fighter first?
This guy's not tied to a network, but I think he would end up on HBO. That's the likelihood because he's with Robert Garcia.
Oh God.
Right, I present to you Saul Rodriguez, fighting out of the Garcia Boxing Academy. He is. Let me just get his record up. I believe he's 19-1, 1-1 draw. That is. He is coming off a very impressive. Sorry, loading up his record. Coming off a very impressive win against Ivan Nahera, who fought Felix Verdejo in the summer. Verdejo took him. He went the distance with Verdejo, gave him a tough fight. Rodriguez just did him in a round. Big things are coming. He's got 14 KOs out of 19 fights, and I've got the following 3 people lined up.
Okay, crack on.
Right. First fight, I'm looking at March. Give him a little bit of a break, and I would like this to be possibly on a boxing after dark undercard.
Okay.
So I'm not going straight for championship boxing. I'm going for the B level brand. Failing that, we'll have it on Top Rank TV, but it will be a headline fight. I'm going to put him in with Orlando Del Valle, who you may remember from fighting Victor Chinian a couple of years ago.
I don't, but carry on.
You don't, right? He's decent little fighter. Has stepped up a couple of times and lost narrowly. Again, I should probably tell you the division. This is in super featherweight. So the end goal is Stephen Smith at Anfield, obviously.
Obviously.
We should have just done a super card with every single fighter we've chosen on at Anfield, and that should have just been like the end game.
Yeah.
It's just like a monster card. It starts at like 9 a.m. and finishes at 4 a.m. the next morning.
The Don King special at Anfield, featuring every Scouse fighter ever, beating the shit out of the greatest boxers of all time.
And nobody gets paid.
And they're still waiting for the money now, yeah. Right, so I'm going for Del Valle first.
Yeah,
Second
I've never heard of him, but I approve.
Okay, you've approved it, great. We'll discuss terms later. Needless to say, I will be handling the money on behalf of the fighter. Second fight, a guy you might have heard of, Will Tomlinson, Australian, super feather. Fought Francisco Vargas about a year ago, got stopped in, I think, the 9th round. Tough fight. Not the biggest puncher, but he's a very, very tough, durable guy. So I would have that, again, on an undercard, possibly on Boxing After Dark, with the aim of Rodriguez basically knocking him out in the first half of the fight.
Can you tell me on a gimmick of Tomlinson? What can we get?
Australia.
Yeah, I mean, there's no real sort of rivalry with Australia and the US. So, can you sort of build up a fake rivalry, as it were?
Well, I'm thinking of if we're going on criminals from the past, I'm thinking of some sort of link with Rolf Harris.
Okay.
Possibly a wobble board during the intros.
Is Rolf Harris known to a US audience or not?
Yeah, it's tricky, isn't it? Especially on the West Coast. With a Mexican audience on the West Coast.
He's a big name all over.
You might have to re-release old Animal Hospital.
Jim Lampley.
Yeah, I think we can organise HBO Animal Hospital showings a couple of weeks beforehand.
Jim Lampley begins the broadcast by reading the poem Two Little Boys, made famous by right? And Lampley slowly breaks into tears as he reads the poem, and it gets sadder and sadder. Then an Aussie guy is brought out. There's like a koala on the ring bell or something like that.
Does he have a wooden horse?
Shane Mosley is in the front row, but instead of that monkey, he's got a koala with him for that show. Are we liking this?
No, yeah, I like the theme.
Can I ask, why were the first two, Miles and Alex, like kind of normal, and then it's just descended into absolute chaos and carnage?
What I did, I took it the other way, and I went with a prospect who could potentially end the year being quite well known.
That's boring.
And I know, I did it really seriously. I've mugged myself off. I've done it too serious. So I'm having to claw my way back with gimmicks, basically.
That's the only way you're getting on this network after the sensational Robin Deacon has taken the world by storm. Gimmicks are the new in thing.
Basically, the final fight is a showdown. I reckon this would headline a Boxing After Dark card on HBO. And I actually think this is a fight that could happen in the next year in real life. He fights Verdejo. for maybe some sort of NABO or some sort of silver intercontinental belt. They've had a couple of common opponents so far. Rodriguez has got slightly better results than Verdejo. You've got the Mexico-Puerto Rico rivalry. I would have Margarito doing the entrances, possibly singing the anthems as well, while pretending to cry during the Puerto Rican anthem. Possibly you could get Brian Perez involved if Cotto gives permission.
Okay, what can Brian do?
I'm thinking he would have put the weight back on for a start.
Yeah.
And he'd basically be you know in between rounds when they hold the camera on a celebrity for way too long and the celebrity doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
You basically pan to him for the whole minute between every round, and it would just be him like eating like Skittles and stuff in a big bucket. And then they might interview him in broken English at the end, and he'd say, "I'm biased, so I've got Verdejo 3 or 4 rounds up." He'd do an Anthony Ogogo. Haven't really been scoring it. Got my mate well ahead. That sort of thing. Possibly have a scuffle with Margarito after the final bell. Get the Mexican Skullman involved. Have the Day of the Dead. All of that sort of shit.
I like it. I've got 2 issues
No,
with it.
I need an undercard, don't I? I need a strong undercard.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a strong undercard.
The undercard would be Margarito's comeback.
Excellent. Who against?
Fighting with an eye patch, despite claiming that his eye is totally fine. He would be fighting... It's got to be someone washed up. I'm going for Manfredo Jr.
Yeah?
The guy who lost all his money in the housing crisis.
Excellent.
I figure he might need a penny or two. Guys, are you buying this?
Yeah.
I don't have the infield factor. I'm worried.
No, I've got 2 questions to ask towards the end.
Yeah.
You say you're fashioning your undercard at the moment, so.
Yeah, I mean, it would headline a Boxing After Dark show. I mean, they'd only have 1 fight on the undercard. Possibly, we'd get who's that lad who came out of prison to fight on HBO? Dewey Bazilla, get him back for his second pro.
Yeah, I like that. I mean,
about 70 now, get him back.
No, that's good. I mean, it shows that he's sticking with it. He's not a quitter. Prison's like that.
You could get Icon there as well, make it like a freak show.
Yeah, it could be a prison card. That'd be quite good.
And you could say,
and there's your fucking... That solves one of my questions. Where's your Peter Sutcliffe reference?
Well, yeah, I'm trying to think of a way of tying this to the Yorkshire murder spree from the mid-80s. Like 5 Degrees of Kevin Bacon or whatever. It's tricky. Oh, no, I've got it. Verdejo, Puerto Rican link. Most famous Puerto Rican fighter of this generation is Cotto. Cotto fought Jennings, who I actually believe is from that part of the world. So you could have Jennings coming back with the aid of his spiritual mentor, Peter Sutcliffe, to train Rodriguez against Verdejo to defeat Puerto Rico once and for all. Yeah?
No, that'd be good. Last thing is we need someone with a club foot.
Right. Margarito's got
that in?
If that makes sense.
Rooney.
Oh yeah, get Rooney in the crowd like on the WWE a couple of weeks ago.
Excellent.
Could we have a staged fight in the crowd where Wayne Rooney has a scrap with someone like Brandon Rios for the cameras? They probably weigh about the same. They're about the same shape in terms of body fat percentages.
Yeah, I think we can organise that. I think that, both men will probably be on the drink without much incentive. Both are quite deformed, I think. Yeah, we'll go with that.
This is going to be at StubHub, by the way. Rooney will have been there all day since the undercard prelims at midday, sort of 12 o'clock. So he will be sunburnt. He'll be completely red, like pink as a fucking lobster by the time the main event starts. Pissed out of his nut, and just sort of shouting in sort of vague Spanish at everyone who goes near him. Get Tim Bradley's wife involved. Somehow she could scrap Rooney. They probably weigh about the same.
Excellent. Yeah, I approve. You're sorted.
So everyone's had all their fights approved, apart from one idiot. Got anything to say?
Have I got anything to say for myself?
Yeah. You've let the side down. We had a perfect record.
I think Sky was being unnecessarily harsh.
We managed to get Robin
Not
Deacon.
approving Martin Murray for February.
You managed to get Robin Deacon fighting in Broadmoor, but
We've managed to get Robin Deacon planning to fight Floyd, with Peter Sutcliffe coming to the ring carrying his belts, and you can't get fucking Callum Smith a few fights for this year.
On Smith versus Murray.
I failed you.
But to be fair, I mean, there is a high chance that Paul Smith will ruin Martin Murray forever. So he'll be,
What's he gonna do? Sit on him?
Yeah. Just whinge, endlessly complain until Martin Murray just has had enough and leaves the arena. I'm sick of this. I'm not fighting him. He won't fucking stop moaning. Something like that. Right, guys, are we happy with that? Prospect watch.
Yeah, that was good fun.
So we'll ask the listeners, keep an eye on what we've just mapped out there, because you could well see it happen in real life, especially Rockin' Robin. Right, guys, unless we've had any questions from listeners or anything like that, I thought we could move on to... Basically, it's a much shorter item, you'll be pleased to know. But Professor Krusty Neck's getting some good feedback on Twitter. I think you like the nickname. Very brief Q&A between the panel, where if you have any pressing questions, be they serious or tongue-in-cheek, about the year to come, ask now or forever hold your peace, basically.
I got one.
Yeah.
How many heavyweight champions do you think there will have been by the end of 2016?
Yeah, it's not a bad one. I got asked the other day if I thought Fury would still be champion at the end of the year. Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it?
I think Fury definitely will be. He'll have the Vlad rematch and he'll win, and he'll have a soft touch. The end of 2017, I can't. Yeah. I don't know if I can see him being champion, but he definitely will be going into 2017.
How many champions will there be? I think there will have been. If we count Fury,
I mean, we've got obviously. How many have we got at the moment? We've got 2.
3. We'll have 3 when we come in January.
Unless it's a draw, we'll have 3. I reckon Wilder will eventually fight Povetkin. He has to, unless the WBC fuck around.
Unless he drops the belt, yeah.
Well, this is what I was thinking, because there must be a reason why Heyman's got their IBF vacant title on that bill.
Well, no. Well, yeah, but Glasgow's not a Heyman fighter.
No, but they was in negotiations for a fight, Glasgow and Wilder, for a long time, weren't they? So I was thinking...
Because Glasgow didn't want his mandatory when it was Vlad. He didn't want to... Yeah.
I was thinking the way of swerving the Povetkin fight would be to go for the unification with Charles Martin or Glasgow.
Yeah, you might have a point there.
So you're unifying what, the WBA and the WBC?
Yeah. No, it'd be the IBF and the WBC, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It's whether the mandatory gets called before that, no?
Unifications take precedent, though, don't they?
Yeah,
even if it is called, does it not?
They'd have to negotiate it very quickly, I think.
Yeah, well, it's the WBC, isn't it?
Yeah. I just feel like they're gonna, because it's been talked about for it's well over 6 months now, isn't it? Back in Wilder. I think they will force it through eventually, and I think Wilder will dump the belt. I don't think he'll fight Povetkin.
Do you think he could dump the WBC and fight for the IBF then?
Yeah, exactly. I think he'll hop over and sort of give the WBC away for the sake of and pick up another one, because I think he could beat Glasgow, who doesn't punch very hard. I've not really seen much of Martin, but I've heard he's not great. Who's going to win that fight, by the way?
Glasgow and Martin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'd argue Glasgow purely because of the amount of robberies he seems to continually get. I mean, maybe it's not a fucking main event card for once, but that guy's got some serious luck. Maybe it'll run out one day, but as much as I'm looking forward to that fight, I think that it's almost irrelevant to me because of the fast round in the belt and everything like that.
It's quite a well matched fight in terms of heavyweights. Like it's not a mismatch. But I agree with you. It shouldn't be for a world title. And
It's
definitely not.
almost like a kind of like a fight between two like contenders in it, and the fact it's for the world title is just it totally devalues the title in my opinion. Anyway,
Yeah, agree.
I mean, do we think that if they even out, obviously the winner is obviously not going to fight anyone significant unless it's like a unification, like you say with Wilder or something, or Wilder tries to get the belt after dumping the WBC belt. So do we think that they fight anyone significant after that fight as like their first defense? And is it possible that they lose straight away?
I don't know who's in the rankings for the WBA that they could fight immediately. IBF, sorry. Could you? I don't know, a guy like Takam or
Takam's.
Oh shit! Yeah, no. I looked this up. Fucking Anthony Joshua is going to.
Joshua and Takam are ranked about 5 and 6 or something.
Yeah, one after this, Joshua will be the next in line for it. He'll be like the highest ranked guy in the IBF, and Takam will be just below him. So I reckon what we'll see is
that could be an eliminator.
Yeah, Joshua Takam eliminator, and then
that's a good fight. That is a really good fight.
Yeah, and then winner obviously fights champion.
And that for either guy, that is a good win. The winner of Joshua Takam will have a win that is worthy of getting a title shot, and it's not often that happens. So I really, really hope that it goes logically and one of them doesn't jump the queue. Because whoever wins that fight will actually deserve, to go on to the next level.
Yeah, and I'd pick either of them to beat Martin or Glasgow.
Yeah, I agree. I like Takam. Yeah, he's good. Underrated. Right. Does that answer your question, Sam? I know we didn't really answer it. But...
Yeah, I mean, maybe 5. I'm going to go 5, tentatively.
Yeah, set the line at 5. Yeah, 2 for the... Fury keeps it. Wilder loses it. That changes hands once, the WBC, and then the IBF changes hands twice. So from vacant, twice through.
Do you think this is going to be a bit like the lost generation of heavyweights, where no one sort of dominates it for any extended period of time?
I think it'll be a few years, probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unless the guy who's best happens to be the guy who pays the most money, which doesn't happen very often. But could potentially, if Joshua improves and becomes dominant, he could potentially get all the belts, because I'm sure they'd be able to pay enough money to get the opponents over on pay-per-view and that.
I read Barry Hearn was spouting some usual nonsense on Sky, and he was saying like their aim with Joshua was not to be the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. Their aim is to make him as much money as they can. So I don't know if they're really interested in going after all the belts. I think they just want one and they'll milk it.
Well, as usual.
I asked like a year ago. I said, I think it wasn't a poll, but I said, if Eddie and Matchroom could choose between Joshua never winning the title, but doing sort of a dozen very successful pay-per-views in a row and selling out the O2 20 times, or winning the belt and respect, but commercially underperforming, what would they choose?
They'd go for the money, wouldn't they?
Of course. And I was amazed that about 60% of people who replied to me, quite a lot of people did reply, and a lot of them said, well, they'll do what's best for the fighter. They'll go for the belt and the glory. And it's just like, no, they won't. Like the most naive thing I've ever heard.
Any more questions then?
Andy?
Yeah. I mean, I've got one. I'll throw one ahead. Who do you think's going to die?
Yeah, the death pool. That's always a good one.
Don King.
No, he'll outlive everyone. He'll be the last guy on earth. He'll outlive the fucking cockroaches, that guy.
Well, he's the king of cockroaches, so,
You've got to say LaMotta, haven't you, every year, because he's like 95.
Isn't he dead?
No, he's still alive.
This year.
No, he's still alive. I think he's almost 100, though, genuinely.
He must be older than that, fuck me.
Who are the guys who are having, like, trouble? I always thought someone like Kelly Pavlik, just because he'd like, crash his car or something.
Muhammad Ali can't have long left in the tank, can he?
Yeah, I'm thinking that. There was rumours, I think either last year or the year before.
Bob Arum's a good age as well, aren't he?
Arum's healthy, though.
He's Arum.
He's fucking birds and smoking pot every day. He's fucking fine, mate. He'll be going for another 20 years at least.
Brian King? Oh, no, he already died. Sorry. Shouldn't make.
You have Coogan on in a minute. Be careful.
Tommy Allen to die in prison. Get shanked.
Fuck's sake.
Never know. I'm trying to think. Who are the sort of the old boys? What about Ken Buchanan? I read a couple of years ago that he was like an alcoholic and like living pretty much homeless.
Fuck's sake.
Serious.
What about Duran? Is he in better condition these days? Because a few years back he looked fucking terrible.
Well, he's still a fat cunt, but he seems a lot more jolly and like, active, I think. So he's like a Nas sort of fat cunt, where he's just like hopping about and getting more involved in boxing these days. I think.
Nas seems really healthy, despite I've got Nas trouble breathing and stuff.
I've got one.
Well,
Yeah.
I think Cal Brook could get caught up in another sort of situation, and
Right.
this time they don't bodge the slashing, and they do a good job on it, and he bleeds to death.
But that was just a random accident, mate. It could have happened to anyone.
Oh, well, silly me, of course.
Yeah.
So Cal Brook
That's why
ends
we
up
never bothered to look
meeting
at it, did it?
Cal Brook ends up meeting Peter Sutcliffe in a nightclub. He tries it on a bit too much, makes it a bit too blatant, and Peter, who just got released on good behaviour, he snaps and finishes the job that was started.
Well,
What
Cal
about
Brook
someone
could be
getting gunned down at the MGM? Stalker?
No, he drool. He wouldn't even die. He'd just drool with death.
They're just going to what's a draw? Just a coma, right? Going to a coma.
Yeah, just brain dead. They just leave you on life support for a while.
Is he dead? Not exactly. Is he alive? Nah, not really.
It's a drool.
Just leave him. He'll be fine. Bunsey, heart attack through stress. I'm just throwing these out there. I'm not saying I want this to happen. I'm just throwing them out there. Who else is quite old? Larry Merchant. He's getting on. He's quite frail these days. Tyson.
I mean, we're all sort of trying to think of the old ones. I'm just trying to think of maybe a couple of obscure car accident or something like that. But
could Robin Deacon not get? Could something go wrong with his involvement in Broadmoor?
well, no, he just beat everyone up. Then.
He'd lose to a security guard who's
Yeah.
never had a fight before. What about any and all Muslim boxers in America getting nuked by Phelps?
Well, they'll all be deported if.
Someone like Amir Imam or Muhammad Ali. Bloody hell, he should watch his back with Phelps around.
He should.
Andy, got any thoughts?
A serious question.
Yeah, it's very serious.
There.
Very serious.
Oh,
Don't joke.
What
Shut
do
them
you
off, I
think?
Andy, log back in. Your
Enough.
connection.
Yeah,
Can you hear me? Aye.
Your sound's a bit choppy, mate.
He's better now.
All right.
Oh yeah, you're back on.
Do you think Canelo will fight Golovkin this year?
Good question. Someone else answer it. I'll be right back.
No. I don't think they will.
I think they will. I reckon that fight. I reckon it'll get built up enough by the time they end up fighting in September that Canelo will take it, because I do think that Canelo wants it, but it's going to be some sort of a catchweight bollocks. Maybe 157 or something. I mean, we've discussed it a bit before, but it's obviously going to be pay-per-view. They're going to have to try and really build it up. They're going to put Golovkin really out there, and I think that's why they wanted this Billy Joe fight first, purely so they can get that extra belt and really sort of hype him up a bit.
That would be all of the belts then, wouldn't it, as well, when he beats Canelo?
Yeah, I mean, obviously Billy Joe's got no interest in that, unfortunately. I mean, that's a bit of a horrific duck, in my opinion. I mean, it's going a bit off a tangent, but What was he offered? 2 point something million
It was
quid.
$3.2 million, wasn't it? So
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
that is.
That would have, yeah, that's what it would have worked out as, which is just insane. You know, I figured it out earlier, and that would have been over 1 million more than Golovkin's ever earned in a fight, and double what fucking Lemieux got.
Who's reported this then? Because that seems an awful lot of money if it's not
That
going to
was
be on
on
pay-per-view.
ESPN, that was. So
What, Fat Dan?
I don't know if it was Fat Dan, but it was certainly ESPN, probably Fat Dan. But you know, I mean, that's what they were told. I think that's the article went that. I think Loeffler told them that they'd offered them, you know, 3.2 million.
I just can't believe he's rejected that.
Well, you know, I think what they're trying to do is they figure that money is probably still going to be there, and maybe they think that Golovkin's earning power will be so much bigger after the Canelo fight, if that fight does happen, that they'll get a bit more of him for the unification, maybe next year, and in that time they can fight Tommy Langford, some other fucking, you know, Latvian, and then maybe the Eubank fight rematch.
Yeah, they can fight 3 bums to prepare for Golovkin.
Exactly.
I just don't. You're just kind of admitting defeat, aren't you, in that situation? Basically saying, you know, we're never going to win, so we might as well milk the belt for a while and then have a go. I just think, hey, take the money
He's
now.
always done that, though, hasn't he?
Golovkin is desperate now. He won't be desperate in a couple of years' time.
Well, that's it. I mean, that's what they're obviously trying to weigh up, is that I think that he will be desperate because Golovkin's obviously got this idea of wanting all the belts in his head, and you know, he's going to have to go through Billy Joe or whoever, you know, potentially beats him to do that. And I think what they've got in their head is that the fight might be worth a bit more when Golovkin's this astronomical name, which he will be if he sparks out Canelo.
And also, HBO are clearly prepared to back him substantially. So when I see people, you know, when I see the stories of like, oh, they've offered 1.5 million or whatever to Billy Joe, I believe it. I think they've realised that they can't kind of lowball opponents with
Yeah, they
Golovkin.
haven't. This is the thing. Usually, when you know you get these big numbers coming out, and you usually get the other side saying, "No, that's bollocks. That's not true. They didn't offer us that." But they haven't really said that, have they? Frank's usually straight out with that. Oh no, they didn't offer us that. Blah blah blah. But
I think it's pretty obvious they're desperate to make that fight.
It should happen. I mean, I don't think they want to bother with the Johnson fight because it's not a big enough pay-per-view sell or as big as another unification, at least. I don't think, you know, with Billy Joe. I think that obviously sells a lot more and makes Golovkin's name that much more significant.
Johnson's a keep busy, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, I mean, he's obviously, you know, the mandatory and he's got to fight him eventually. But well, I think what they want to do before this fight with Canelo is really maximise Golovkin's earning power so they can go into the negotiations a bit, you know, a bit more powerful and a bit more prepared. And with the third belt, and you know, that obviously makes them have a bit more say. Maybe not in the catch weight area, but certainly in the money area.
Yeah, it's a funny one with Golovkin. You think if the Chavez thing hadn't gone wrong, and because I think that fight would have really sort of catapulted him straight away, and maybe he would have been able to get that next level of fight from a couple of years ago. And if that hadn't fallen through, how it could have been so different.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few names that he could have fought, but obviously didn't materialise purely because either ducking or, you know, they moved up and went away and lost to someone else. I mean, you say Chavez, I think Sergio Martinez, and obviously Cotto as well, but Cotto shat it and then decided.
I think Martinez would have fought him if he'd beaten Cotto. And sort of, if Martinez has beaten Cotto and still been strong and been able to say, okay, yeah, I can still fight at the top level, I think he would have fought him. Martinez never ducked anyone in his whole career. Like, you know,
Oh,
Martinez, you know what I mean? He fought in like on undercards literally in Bristol, like on random UK shows for years.
Yeah, no, I love Martinez. I'm not gonna go ahead and slate him. I don't think that he was that sort of guy. I think he probably would have took. I mean, Lou DiBella's said before, I think that, that he didn't want that fight for Sergio at all. But
Yeah.
that was quite early on, I think, way before even the Chavez fight. I think he was saying that. But
Quite interesting.
maybe it would have.
I saw an interview with Nacho Beristain today, actually, where they're talking about Canelo Golovkin, and here's his quote. Let me get a quote up for you now. He worded it quite strongly. Oh, right. The headline on the page is Saunders demands home field advantage against Golovkin.
Fuck's sake.
I think Golovkin would go over for him, to be honest.
I think Golovkin would fight him in a campsite.
Yeah.
He won't.
He just wants the belt, doesn't he?
They've already got a New York booked. That's the thing. That's
Yeah,
what Billy Joe knows. That they've already got a New York booked for Golovkin. Golovkin's next fight.
Is Billy Joe not got the Irish in him? They could just play up the fake Paddy thing and they'd come out and support him.
He doesn't want the fight. He doesn't want the fight, and that's what ultimately is. They could offer him, obviously if they offered him like 10 million, he'd take it. But it's because it's low enough to him to take it. Lower than what he originally demanded, which was just an absolutely impossible number anyway. The 4 million that he wanted, and he was never ever getting that in the first place. And now, like I say, I want home advantage. He wasn't going to get that because they've already booked fucking New York. They've already got it planned out. They want fucking Gonzalez on the undercard, and they possibly want Usyk on the undercard as well. Usyk versus Glavaki, Roman Gonzalez against. Have
you heard that name's being mentioned for Gonzalez? It's not good.
Apparently, it's going to be Segura. That seems
Segura. That's horrible.
I know, but apparently Gonzalez came out and said that that's not the case. His fight hasn't been scheduled, and apparently, what's his name? Estrada just pulled out of a fight against a thumb just recently, and they're thinking that maybe they're making moves and making steps to obviously making that a fight.
It's getting to the point where I'm sort of past caring about it. It's a bit like Thurman and Porter. I don't give a shit about Thurman and Porter anymore. I don't really care about it happening or not because they've just wasted so much time. Like, will they, won't they? And it's like it's two top 10 guys. It's not Mayweather Pacquiao. Like we're not going to sit around and wait for years for it. And it's getting to that stage with Estrada Gonzalez. Like all the shit about Gonzalez said he wanted $1 million, and then Estrada said, well, I want parity, I want a 50-50 split, so whatever he gets, I want. And you just think, like, what, you're going to split £2 million, are you, for a fucking flyweight fight or whatever it is?
Yeah, I think that's just them getting used to this sort of, I mean, maybe this is just excuse making on my part, and, I shouldn't be saying it, maybe that's just them getting used to this new level of negotiations that they're dealing with. Obviously, Thurman and Porter, there's no reason whatsoever that fight shouldn't be made. They've got the same fucking promoter, same sort of advisor and everything. And there's a couple of issues, obviously, with negotiations with Gonzalez and Estrada. They have had the first fight. It is a bigger fight and a more important fight. It's a unification. There's a lot of variables involved in that. But I think that now that Gonzalez is certainly a bigger name than he was back before when he asked for that $1 million. And Estrada himself, that fight's been talked up. I think that hopefully they can, that would obviously be on pay-per-view as well. I think that's what they're trying to do with Golovkin, isn't it? So
yeah, and get the tag team of him and probably the two best offensive fighters in the sport, right, at the moment. Him and Chocolatito, arguably the two best going forward.
I mean, and again, because it's the K2 link, they want Usyk on there. So I mean, that would be a fucking tremendous card. But I
think there's a clear appetite for a guy like that at that sort of a weight. I think Usyk could do. Yeah, I think he could do well, and he, clearly is good enough to make the next step. I just think it's a funny one. I don't know if you saw it, but yeah, Nacho Beristain was saying today that he thinks he wouldn't ever let Canelo fight Golovkin if he was the manager. He said, I honestly think Canelo might never fight again, basically. He said he thinks Golovkin would retire him. He has always been quite critical of Canelo throughout his career, more than most Mexican pundits, but they're pretty strong words. And I think
a few guys have said that.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously...
It would never be the same again, and that's not... I can remember, who was it? Fernando Vargas fighting Trinidad. And after that, every fight after that, you're just like, maybe that was a bit too early. Maybe we've kind of fucked him over. It'd be a shame to see the same thing happen.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that is going to happen, and maybe that fight won't happen because Oscar's a bit scared of that. But I think Canelo's ultimately going to got his own reins, I think, and he might lead himself towards that fight because I think he probably thinks he can win it. He's got that sort of, I wouldn't say arrogance, but certainly confidence in him that he thinks he could beat Golovkin. But I would think that he's certainly misguided and he would get fucking destroyed. I don't know about obviously retired, but that obviously depends on his ability to say no and do a no mas. But
yeah. Exactly. If he takes a beating for like 10 rounds, you think I'm very interested to see what Lemieux looks like when he comes back, because I think he could well be a broken man when he fights again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that would. I think they might try and make that sort of fight. Maybe Billy Joe at some point.
Lemieux Canelo is a good fight. I'd enjoy that. Two guys who like to throw, power punches. I think that would be a great little fight. I don't like the Rosado one at all. I think that's an awful fight for a guy who's just won the lineal champion. What's Rosado doing fighting for the lineal championship?
After fighting Clarty.
Yeah, in what, a 10-rounder and winning by a point.
Yeah.
Clarty hasn't fought in like 2 years. Ridiculous.
Was that was Clarty's first at 160 as well, was it?
It's ultimately the problem with the 160 division, though, isn't it? It's shite. It really is just shite. I mean, who else can Canelo really fight that is? I mean, I'm not saying that is as an excuse for him to fight Rosado. I think the Rosado fight's shit, but the whole division is just absolute shite. Anyone he fights is just going to be oh fucking hell, not him.
And they're all either awful or they're coming off losses to Golovkin, pretty much.
Exactly. They've already got fucking destroyed by Golovkin, or they're not good enough, and it's as simple as that.
I was thinking even a guy like Endam, Canelo could potentially look good against, because I'm sure he'd knock him down a bunch of times. He's coming off a loss, isn't he? He hasn't fought since Lemieux, so that's not an easy sell. Yeah, it is a tough one.
Yeah,
but
a
lot easier.
Fucking Endam, after Golovkin sparks Lemieux, and Lemieux beat Endam, it really doesn't sell well, does it? So
yeah, exactly.
I've seen a few things of Billy Joe saying that he reckons he can fight Canelo and beat Canelo. So,
well, he says that he just said that about fucking Golovkin earlier. He's just fucking spastic.
I think Canelo Saunders is a good fight. I think that's well matched. I think Canelo is a bigger man than Saunders, and they both, would probably throw a lot early rounds and then gas a bit, and it might be about who could sort of sustain their energy. But I could see Saunders winning 8 rounds of that fight and then losing on the cards 7-5. That's what I think would happen. It would look like the Trout fight.
Yeah, I think that maybe Billy Joe probably ended up getting a bit bullied too much. He's just not big enough to handle it. Similarly, I think it would go quite similarly to how the Indam fight would go, except that Billy Joe wouldn't be on the floor about 600 times.
Yeah, but he might be sort of, especially to the body. I think Canelo could hurt him.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, you hope it's all posturing, don't you? And I mean, if Golovkin got Saunders in April and then Canelo in September, we'd all be delighted. But it's very naive to think that will, to think that will happen based on what we've heard so far.
Yeah, I think every year boxing fans probably start very optimistic about what's going to happen over the next year. And when it gets to, halfway through, we're like, well, this year's been shit. Hopefully it improves towards Christmas. And then it's just more shit. And then, maybe I'm just being a bit too depressing because, 2013 or 2014? I can't remember.
14 was the worst year.
One of them was just like one of the best years we've ever had for like 25 years.
Yeah, Bernstein said that, didn't he? He said 2013 was the best year since he sort of covered boxing full time, which was literally 30 years. But I think a lot of that was luck because there were so many fights that were meant to be showcases or whatever that ended up being. Do you remember that card in? I always remember this. Perfect example. The card from Texas in the summer of that year, like August or whatever. And it was Thurman against Diego Chavez, Arakawa against what's his face, Figueroa, and then Berto against Soto Carras. all three of those were meant to be pretty much showcases for the American guy. And they all turned into wars, and it was maybe the card of the year. Unbelievably good card, but it wasn't by. And I remember saying at the time they didn't mean to do this. Like it was, they meant it to be a showcase. Berto was meant to win easily, but he just.
Is that the one where Berto hurt his arm?
Yeah, and then he got
Like
knocked out.
one-armed.
It was amazing. He
Yeah.
got knocked out in the last round. It was brilliant.
Yeah, I remember that was very
The Arakawa Figueroa fight was unbelievable. Even Bradley Provodnikov, that was, it's a good fight, but it wasn't meant to be. I think that's the best fight of the last. It's the best fight since Pacquiao Marquez 4. I think best fight of the last 3 years.
Yeah, good shout that.
A true 5-star
Yeah,
fight.
wasn't fucking Rios? What's his name?
Alvarado.
Yeah, wasn't that 2013 as well?
The second one
First
was.
one.
The first one was 2012. That's a brilliant fight. I watched that again recently.
Yeah, again, that was again.
He went the first
fantastic fight.
Froch Groves was a belter as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, but yeah, exactly.
That was
At the end of the year.
2013, yeah.
And again,
But yet last
wasn't meant to
2014,
be-
following it,
Yeah, exactly. And then 14 was so bad, wasn't it? Just like everything went wrong. I mean, you look at something like Pacquiao Bradley 2 was one of the best fights that year, and that was like just an average fight. It wasn't even, not bad, but it wasn't good. And that ended up being like one of the best big fights. Like stuff that you never want to watch again.
was Mayweather Maidana one? Was that 2013 as well?
No, it was 2014. And that was, another one that was, the first one it was a good fight the first time, wasn't it? But but not.
Yeah,
it
that
wasn't
was the
meant to.
entirety of 2014, wasn't it? That was both Maidana fights. Wasn't 2014? Because 2013, end of 2013 was the Canelo fight. So
Yeah,
again,
and
you had the Garcia
Herrera-
Ortiz fight on that as well, didn't you? So
Yeah. God, and then you look at every division in 2013 was exciting and had great fights in it. And even, I know it wasn't great, but I think you had Povetkin Klitschko in 2013, which was, although the fight was pretty boring, it was an important fight that needed to happen between sort of the two best guys.
yeah, it was a very good year. Very good year.
I feel sad now, reminiscing.
Hopefully, I don't want to be completely miserable ahead, obviously, but for 2016, there's potential for some good fights, but when you hear, fighters like Billy Joe Saunders turning down ungodly sums for this fight, you just think, for fuck's sake, is this really how this year's going to start? And then, you've also got the belt fuckery with the heavyweights. I mean, is it better having, a fractured division just to get rid of Vlad? I mean, a lot of people hated Vlad, his style, how he lorded over the division, but now you've got fucking cowboys everywhere, and it's a completely different environment.
It's really important, even if you don't like the champion. It's important that there is one.
Yes.
Always.
Absolutely.
But people were absolutely totally happy to completely discard that just because they thought that the champion was a bit boring. And it's like you can't pick and choose it. And then because like someone like a few of the American commentators were sort of quite outspoken about Klitschko being boring and all this stuff. But they'll be the first ones to complain when we've got a champion from Belarus, a champion from, Russia, a champion from the UK, and a champion from Argentina, and none of them are fighting each other. They'll be the first one to complain about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this year's got, like I say, potential. I'm just thinking of more fights. Kovalev, the light heavyweight division might just light up. I think that there's the potential going ahead is Kovalev, Stevenson, Kovalev, Ward, Kovalev, Beterbiev, and all of those sort of mixing in with each other. I think that there's the potential there. I think Beterbiev is like, near enough a mandatory for Kovalev. They obviously got the plan in mind for Kovalev Ward at the end of the year. I think they might want Kovalev Stevenson before that. I mean, that would be absolutely incredible. And then you've got the flyweights, as I was just saying, the Gonzalez Estrada might be happening.
I heard
Golovkin Canelo, obviously.
There was a talk about Inoue versus someone. I think it was a Mexican lad.
Cuadras.
Yes, possibly. Yeah, and it was going to be his debut in the States, and that's an interesting fight.
Oh no! You mean Carmona, David Carmona, I think his name is. That's one of his mandatories.
His debut in the States.
Yeah. I remember what you said. Yeah, I had that as well. His debut is they're trying to get him in the States, and his mandatory because he's got still two mandatory obligations to fight. He had 3 before he beat up that Parinas guy. He knocked him out, and because what happened was those two, Parinas and Carmona, were to fight each other to decide who was in a ways mandatory. But they fucking drew. So what the WBO decided was that they're both mandatory. So now Inoue's got to fight both of them. Yeah, and you've got fucking, for some absolutely bizarre reason, Omar Narvaez is exacting his rematch clause against Inoue.
Yeah, I heard that. I genuinely thought that was a joke. I saw that tweeted.
Yeah, I'm guessing he's brain damaged, or he got really good money for the first fight.
Yeah, he must need the money, right? Because he's like 40 as well, isn't he? Something?
Yeah, I mean, so that's, and I did remember seeing Carmona was going to be in the States just to get him known over there, which would be excellent. So, and obviously, that leads towards, in a way, Gonzalez maybe 2017, which would be fucking amazing.
I just want some of the Asian guys to come to the States a bit more. I'd love to see Uchiyama, Walters. That's on my wish list.
Yeah, that was planned as well, wasn't it?
Well, that's happening, isn't it?
Well, they want it to happen. I think negotiations have started, but whether they go anywhere. But yeah, it's.
Your fucking Vargas rematch was talked about as well.
Your Vargas rematch was talked about, but Aram has come out and said he wants Gamboa Vargas.
Again, great fight. So.
Again,
that'd be a good fight.
I'd like to see a rematch, but that's also a good fight. So, to be honest, Vargas is turning into one of my favourites in the whole sport. It's very hard to put him in. If you look at the division, it's very hard to put him in a bad fight, really.
You love a Mexican, don't you?
Yes, mate.
Yeah,
this year, like looking at it right at the start, everyone's quite hopeful about it, aren't they? But like you said earlier on, come May, July, June, we'll all be thinking, "Fuck, this is shit again."
Yeah, exactly. Because it'll I don't know, Gonzalez, Quig Frampton will have been a draw or something like that, like really unsatisfactory draw, and then we'll have had I don't know, Canelo will have got injured and be ruled out for the rest of the year. Golovkin won't get a shot, and it will be all this nonsense. Actually, that brings us on to the final point very, very quickly. Right, I want a prediction from everyone for the year. One outlandish and one realistic, and we'll write these down and come back to them at the end of the year or whenever in a few months.
Every fucker else is fucked off, so it's just us 3.
Yeah. So with a gold, silver, bronze medalists, and I want my prediction, as I stated, is that Quig Frampton ends in a controversial draw, and they never negotiate a rematch. It'll be like a Whittaker Chavez situation. That's my first negative prediction for the year.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to say I completely forgot that fight was happening, and obviously that's a good little fight as well.
I'm not that excited about it. I don't know. They're building
you've
out.
Always been down on both of them, though, haven't you? You've always been a bit negative towards both. I mean, I've always been quite
silver medal, aren't they? Stupid.
Yeah, it is a silver medal fight, as you say, but maybe it's odd of me to be the optimistic one, I suppose. But hopefully they can live up to all the talk that they've had about fighting Rivendell, but I don't think they will.
Yeah. Right. Who's on the? Sorry, just quickly. Have they done the undercard for that yet?
A couple of Irish fighters, a couple of like Irish talents on it, I think.
But no, nothing significant.
No.
I doubt there will be either.
No.
My prediction then. I'd say Ward beats Kovalev and ends the year pound for pound number 1 or 2.
That's negative.
I think he'd be number 1 if he won that fight.
Yeah,
definitely. Would be my number 1 for sure. Alex, another prediction? Something about Sutcliffe, please.
Peter Sutcliffe comes out of prison, and no. I'm just trying to think of a genuine prediction. Obviously I've just talked about fights and things, but I really can't predict anything that's gonna actually happen. God. No.
No. I've got a couple of others written down that are actually they're feasible, but unlikely, I'd say. First one is AJ getting disqualified for hitting after the bell and getting his record blemished. I don't think that could ever happen, though, could it? Really?
No, never on a British card, at least. Anyway, if you fought abroad, maybe a foreign ref might have a word. But
second one is it's one of those situations where I love and hate the outcome at the same time. It's all the Smith brothers apart from Paul winning world titles in 2016. And I would love it because Paul would clearly be raging inside, despite trying to claim he was happy for his brothers. But at the same time, it would mean 3 titles for Gallagher, which is annoying.
Yeah,
you know
again, I can see that happening. So
I might put some money on Stephen Smith in that one against Pedraza. I think he can beat him.
What's the odds on it? I didn't think they were that good first time I saw them.
Yeah, they weren't great. I'm hoping they might get a bit wider if the money goes on Pedraza. The Americans seem to rate him quite highly. I'm not that convinced.
No, especially after his last fight against Cherry. He looked very poor. But
and it's win-win. Because if Stephen Smith loses, the excuses will be unbelievable.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's always ready-made, isn't it? I mean, he's going to New York for it, I think. So.
Yeah, you need to knock them out to get a draw in America. All this stuff.
Yeah, Pedraza's 4-7. Stephen Smith is like 11-8 for him, 6-4. You know.
Yeah, it's great, is it?
Yeah. No, not really.
Well, not on those odds then, I guess. Right, literally everyone has left apart from us.
Yeah, pretty much.
War of attrition. We are the survivors. We get the Sutcliffe stamina prize, the first one of the year.
It's a big trophy of a clubbed foot.
The golden club foot. We'll keep everyone posted. We're still, if anyone's still listening, we're going to try and be as regular as possible, as in pick a time and a date each week and stick to that, because I know it's a lot easier for listeners to keep up if we do that. It might be Thursday, it might not. We're still working it out, but we'll try and be consistent. But thank you all for listening, and hope you enjoyed us getting back up to speed.
Cheers boys.